Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today we are going to be working on this beautiful Celtic Afghan pattern, and I really hope you enjoy it. This is a pattern that is available for free through Lion brand, and I know the written pattern is out there for you. We'll go through that and I'll put a link in the description box. But I know there are some people that instead of, reading through a pattern, they prefer either a chart or a video. So that's why I made this video. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's involved here and we'll get going with this pattern. So let's go through the materials suggested here on the pattern. I actually printed this out. I would recommend that you might want to have this printed for reference as well. Let's go through what the materials are. So this first is the Lion brand Vanna's Choice yarn in linen. You'll need 12 balls of that. This is done with a larger hook, so you'll want a 9mm hook. And of course, some tapestry needles to weave in your ends at the end of the project. The other thing I recommend is at least one stitch marker. And I can go through this a little bit later, but I think in order to keep track of the repeating rows, I think this is really helpful as well. So those will be our materials that we need. Like I say, I recommend you print this off for reference, but we'll actually be going through all the different stitches on here and every row that is repeated for this particular pattern. To start this beautiful pattern, there's a couple ways you can do this. The first way is to make a chain of 121. And then in the next row, put a double crochet in the fourth chain from the hook and all the way across. What that will leave you with is 119 double crochets. So if you've watched any of my videos before, you know I'm not a fan of doing really long chains and then another row. If we don't have to, I'd prefer to do them all at once. So I'm going to do a foundationless double crochet row, and it's going to be 119 double crochets, so I can do that all at the same time. Now, if you're not familiar with how to do a foundationless double crochet, you can go ahead and look that up on my YouTube channel. I do have a video all on how to do foundationless rows, and I'll put a link to that in the description box below so that you can go ahead and take a look at that if you need to. But if you're not comfortable with it or you just prefer to do the chain, that's fine. What you're going to want to do, just as a reminder, is 121 is your chain, and then a double crochet and the fourth chain from the hook and all the way across. And again, you should end up with 119 double crochets. So go ahead and do your double crochets, and then when you have 119, come on back here and we'll talk about what to do for the next row. At this point, you should have 119 double crochets as the foundation for our Afghan here. And as I mentioned in the introduction, there are 3 different cable patterns that alternate all across the row. So we're going to go through what those 3 different cable patterns are and what the pattern is across the row, and then we'll go through all 4 rows. They're slightly different each row. And once we do that, you'll repeat those 4 rows until you get to the right length for the Afghan. Now, you can look at the pattern instructions that I included in the description box, but sometimes I think it looks a little confusing, so I wrote down my own little cheat sheet on this pattern. So for example, this is one row, and this is the different cable pattern that you use across the row and how many stitches it has in it. Cable pattern 1 you'll see is 3 stitches. Every time you see cable pattern 1, you'll see it's 3 stitches. Cable pattern 2 has 11 stitches. Every time you see it, you'll see that. And every time you see cable pattern 3, you'll see it has 17 stitches. since this is one row, if you add this all up, you get 119 stitches. That's why it's so important to make sure you start out with the right number. The other thing that you'll see here is that there is a pattern for each row. And you can group it any way you want. For me, the easiest way to think of it is like this, where there's cable pattern 1, cable pattern 2, cable pattern 1, and cable pattern 3. And then it repeats, 1, 2, 1, 3. And it repeats again, 1, 2, 1, 3. And then the last time it's just 1, 2, 1. There's not a 3 at the end. So that's kind of the way I work it in my mind and how the repeats work for me. So I'm going to show you cable pattern 1, 2, 1, 3, which is this first grouping. And then you can take it from there and do the repeats, and we'll come back at the end and go on to row 2. So let's start with cable pattern 1. So to start with cable pattern 1, it is a front post double crochet, a back post double crochet, and a front post double crochet. Now we need a turning chain, which we're going to do, and that's going to count as our first front post double crochet. I prefer to do an alternative turning chain because I think it gives it a little bit more stability, especially since we're going to be putting some front post and back post stitches around there. But you can do a chain 3 if you'd prefer. If you're not sure what an alternative turning chain is, I do have a link in the description box. So that's our front post double crochet. Then we'll do a back post double crochet. Oops, there we go. And then we'll do a front post double crochet. One thing I'll mention as we're doing this, the hook is pretty large for this weight of yarn, and sometimes these lower parts of the stitches can get in the way. Just make sure you're, kind of opening that up and putting your stitches around the right part of the post. Make sure you're not including that. Okay, so front post, front post, and there is cable pattern 1. Now for row 1, cable pattern 2, we are going to start with a back post triple crochet. So in the next stitch, do a back post triple crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do a puff stitch, and that's in the top of the next stitch here. The puff stitch for this pattern is yarn over and pull through 5 times. So there's 2, there's 3, 4, and 5. And I like to make sure mine are all fanned out and pretty loose so that you get a neat looking puff stitch. Then you'll do another back post triple crochet. Now since this opened this up so much, don't skip over this post here. It kind of looks like the next stitch is this one here. It's not. You just have to see that this is in the top of this post. So your next one is this post, right? So make sure you don't skip that. All right, back post triple crochet. And then a double crochet in the next stitch. So let's just look at that for just a minute. You have a back post triple crochet, a puff stitch, a back post triple crochet, and a double crochet. And you're going to repeat that one more time. So we'll do a back post triple crochet. I don't know about you, but I kind of like to bend my work a little bit to make the back posts easier. Just do what you need to do to get that done. Next stitch, we'll do a puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll do a back post triple crochet in the next stitch. And then a double crochet in that stitch. So far for cable pattern 2, that's 8 stitches. And now we'll do, for the remaining 3, we'll just do a back post triple crochet, a puff stitch, and a back post triple crochet. No double crochet at the end. So here's your back post triple crochet, and then around the next stitch. A puff stitch in the next stitch. Okay, one more. Go through all 11. And a back post triple crochet. Okay, there is your cable pattern 2. Okay, and now we go back to cable pattern 1. Every time you have an that you alter between 2 and 3, there's always going to be a cable pattern 1 in between. Kind of another thing for you to think about. So go back to cable pattern 1, which is a front post double crochet, back post double crochet, and then a front post double crochet. And now we're going to go to cable pattern 3. So for row 1, cable pattern 3 starts with 4 double crochets. Okay. Then we're going to do 9 back post triple crochets, oops, missed a loop. Okay, here's 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Okay. All right. So there's your 4 double and your 9 back post triple crochets. And then to end cable pattern 3, we have 4 double crochets. In cable pattern 3, you'll notice every row will start and end with 4 double crochets for that particular cable pattern. And one more. Okay. So there's your cable pattern 3, your 4 double crochets, your 9 back post double crochets, 9 back post triple crochets, and then your 4 double crochets. And if you look all the way across at this pattern, because we said we're going to do 1, 2, 1, 3. Here's 1, front post, front post. Here's 2, which is your back posts and your back post trebles and your puff stitches in this section. Back to 1, front, back, front. And then here's 3, which is 4 doubles, 9 back post triples, and 4 doubles. So if we take a look and go back to our pattern cheat sheet, we just did this section here, cable pattern 1, 2, 1, 3. You're going to do that 2 more times, and then for the additional time, you're just going to do cable pattern 1, 2, 1. We're not going to do the third at the end. So go ahead and do this 2 more times. Do your 1, 2, 1 at the end, and we'll meet back here at the end, and then we can start row 2. Now you should be done with row 1, and you should have repeated that cable pattern that we looked at all the way to the end, and you should have ended with a cable pattern 1 for row 1, which is front post double, back post double, front post double. So now let's go ahead and turn and go to cable pattern 1, row 2. So I told you there were slight differences for each row. So this is still 3 stitches, but instead of front post, front post, it's now going to be the reverse. Back post, front post, back post. And also, instead of double, it's going to be triple. So we'll start with our turning chain, and that's going to count as your first back post triple crochet. And then we'll do, for our second stitch, we'll do a front post triple crochet. And for the third stitch, we'll do a back post triple crochet. Okay, that's cable pattern 1, row 2. Now we're going to go to cable pattern 2 for row 2. And this is where we're going to do a stitch that's called a front post triple crochet cross. And that front post triple crochet cross goes around 3 stitches. So it's comprised of these 3 stitches here. This is that back post triple that we did, the puff, and the back post triple that we did. So those 3 are going to make up where we put our front post triple crochet cross. So let's start and see what that looks like. The first part of that stitch, you're going to yarn over and insert the top of the next stitch like you would a double crochet. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2, and that's where you're going to stop. Now we're going to do our first crossing over. You're going to yarn over twice, like you're going to do a triple crochet, and you're going to do a front post triple crochet on the post to the left of the puff stitch. So that post right here, you're going to do a front post triple crochet. The only unique part about this is that you will end with 3 loops on the hook instead of 2, so you can just go ahead and go through all 3 loops on the hook. Okay? Now the next part of this front post triple crochet cross is to put a double crochet in the top of the puff stitch. So that stitch right there in the top of the puff stitch, but you've got this cross in the way because we went across here. You need to move it to the back. So the way I do it is it's a double crochet that you're going to do. So I just yarn over, I go into the top of that puff, and I move the cross to the back, so behind my hook, so it's out of the way. Okay, so I just move that to the back and I complete my double crochet. All right, so now I have that double crochet there, and the cross that we just did previously has been moved to the back. And now we're going to do the other side of that cross. So yarn over twice, and we had previously skipped this post to the right of the puff stitch. Now we're going to go back and do a front post triple crochet there. yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and stop with 2 on the hook, okay? And we will finish this by doing a, I'll call it a double crochet, in the top of the stitch to the left of the puff. Now you had previously already done a front post around that, so now we're going to work in the top of that. So you've got 2 loops left on the hook, yarn over, and insert your hook into the top of that stitch to the left of the puff. And this is like a double crochet, but once again you have 3 left on the hook and you go through all 3. That crazy thing right there is your front post triple crochet cross. Don't worry, we'll do it again. All right, there's that double crochet from before, so you're going to do a double crochet there, just like you did. And you'll always do a double crochet there. You'll see those start stacking up. Now let's do that front post triple crochet cross once more. So yarn over, go into the top of the next stitch, yarn over and draw through 2, leave the 2 on the hook. We're going to work over here in this post to the left of the puff. So yarn over twice for a triple crochet front post here. We'll go through 2, go through 2, go through all 3. Now we're going to do a double crochet in that puff stitch that we skipped. So yarn over and insert your hook. We got to move that cross to the back, so put it behind your hook and finish your double crochet. Okay, we're going to finish the cross, yarn over twice, and now we're going to go to the post to the right of the puff stitch that we skipped. So go ahead and do a front post, the start of a front post triple crochet until you have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over and go into the top of the stitch to the left of the puff where you've already done that front post. So go right in that top there, yarn over, go through 2 and go through all 3. We'll do another double crochet in the double crochet from the previous round. And now we get to do that front post triple crochet cross one more time again around these 3 stitches here. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 2, leave 2 on the hook, yarn over twice and do a front post triple crochet on the post to the left. And remember, we'll have 3 left on the hook and you'll have to go through all 3. We're going to go a double crochet into the top of the puff. So you're going to have to move your cross to the back so you can finish your double crochet. We're going to do the other side of the cross, so yarn over twice and do a front post triple around the post to the right of the puff, leaving 2 loops on the hook. Okay, now we're going to yarn over and go into the top of the stitch to the left of the puff where we did that front post. And we're going to yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through all 3. Let's just take a look at that. We can see what that looks like. And you can see you have some crosses here, right? That's the cross we made. The other one is to the back. A little bit harder to see, but they're right there. Those are the ones that we had to push to the back because we did the double crochet in that puff stitch. All right, that's cable pattern 2 for row 2. Now we'll go back to the cable pattern 1, which remember this time is a back post triple crochet. Front post triple crochet, and a back post triple crochet. Now I will say that if it's easier for you as you go along to use markers to mark out where these different cable patterns switch back and forth, please feel free to do that. I do think that these patterns kind of stand out, and you know instinctively when to switch. I mean, it's pretty clear right here that you're going to go to cable pattern 3 because everything's switched here. It's pretty clear right here where you have those groupings of 3 with the front post and the back post. I think those stand out pretty good. But if it's easier for you to put little markers, stitch markers, wherever it changes, you can feel free to do that as well. Okay, now we are on cable pattern 3 for row 2. And we're going to, like I mentioned before, we're going to start out with 4 double crochets. We will always start out with 4 double crochets for cable pattern 3. Okay, now we are going to do a front post double crochet around the next 3 stitches after I get myself some yarn here. These stitches do eat up a lot of yarn, so you'll have to be prepared for that. Okay, front post double crochet over these next 3 stitches. Oops. There's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then we are going to skip these next 3 stitches. We're going to skip those all together. Don't worry, we'll come back. Now in the final 3 of those, that grouping right there, in the final 3, we are going to do front post triple crochets. Okay, so we're going to skip these 3. So this one's next. We're going to do a front post triple crochet. And the next, those 3 remaining ones right here. And 1 more. Okay, now we skipped these 3 in the middle here. We're going to need to go back and get them. So we are going to go back here and put front post triple crochets in each of these, and we're going to work in front of these stitches that we just made. Okay, so we're going, and you need to probably pull these apart, whatever you need to do to bring these to the forefront so you can get to them easily. So I just did a yarn over twice, and I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to do my front post triple crochet. I kind of moved those other ones out of the way there. So we'll go around that post and do our triple crochet. Okay, there's 1. We have 2 more that we skipped. Okay, so we're going to yarn over twice. We're going to go find that next one right here. I'm moving these other ones out of the way. We'll go into here and do our next front post triple crochet. And we have 1 more. Okay, so dig in there and find that. There it is. That's the other one that we skipped. I'm just moving these out of the way. And we're going to go get that last front post triple crochet. Okay, so we did that, and now we're going to finish up cable pattern 3 by doing a double crochet in those next 4 stitches. Remember, it always starts and ends with 4 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, let's take a look at that so we can see that section. So what you'll notice here is that we are starting the crossover of where that cabling goes across and up the Afghan. Now, the other thing that you'll notice is we started with front post double crochets, But when it came to those that we're going to cross over, we did front post triple crochets. As we work back and forth on this, you'll notice that whenever they're straight and not crossing, they're doubles. Whenever they're involved in that crossing to make the cabling, they're triple. So just pay attention to that so that you know which ones to do double and triple on cable pattern 3. Okay? All right. That is row 2. So what we just went through is the back post triple, front post triple, back post triple, that new front post triple cross with a double crochet in between, right, ending with the front post triple crochet cross. Then we did another cable pattern 1, back post triple, front post triple, back post triple. And then we started cable pattern 3, which is your 4 double crochets, 3 front post double crochets, with the skipping the stitches and going back, and ending with 4 double crochets. Okay, so that's pattern 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3. Okay, and if you look back at our little cheat sheet, for row 2, we just did 1, 2, 1, 3. You need to do that 2 more times, and then you need to do 1, 2, 1. So let's go ahead and finish up this row, and I'll meet you back at the end of row 2 and we'll talk about row 3. Now row 2 is complete, and it should look something similar to this. And we went ahead and did the back post triple crochet, front post triple crochet, and back post triple crochet to end that row. And you can see you have another pattern starting over here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at row 3. Now row 3 for the most part is pretty similar to row 1, just a couple differences. So let's go through those and make sure we have those down. Okay. So for row 3 for cable pattern 1, we are back to front post double crochet, back post double crochet, front post double crochet. So this turning chain counts as our first front post double crochet. Now I'm going to do my back post double crochet and my front post double crochet. So every time you see cable pattern 1, that's what we're looking at. And you can see here, since you're alternating between front and back post, the raised post is always on the same side in the same location. So it kind of gives you an indication of which way you're on. That kind of helps with remembering. All right, now if you remember here for row 1, we did back post triple crochet, a puff, back post triple crochet, and then that double crochet in between. We're going to do that again. But when we do the back post triple crochet, it looks like we should go around this post here. Instead, we're going to go around the post of the cross. So remember those stitches the row before made crosses. Here's one this way. If you can see that cross right there, there's one. And then there's one in the back that goes this way. So instead of doing our back post triple crochets around the post here, we're going to do them around the posts of the cross. So let's do the first one, because the other one is a little more difficult. All right, so you're going to yarn over twice for your back post triple crochet, and then you're going to go back and find the post from the cross. Okay, and let's just turn it around so that you can see it too. If you see the cross that goes across there, you're going to do the back post triple crochet around that cross. Okay, so that's where you're going to do your back post triple crochet. And you'll see that will start forming a pattern as well. Okay, now we need to do the puff. And the puff is in the top of the double crochet. If you recall, we did a double crochet in the top of the puff the row before, and we had to move things out of the way. So there's a cross in front of it. You got to find where that double crochet is to make sure you're doing it in the right stitch. There's the double crochet. It, for the most part, it just lines up on top of that puff stitch. So as you take a look at that, you can see there's the stitch right there. That's the double crochet in the row before. That's where you're going to want to make your puff stitch. So go ahead and do a puff stitch in the top of that double crochet from the previous row. Okay, now we're going to do a back post triple crochet in the post, not this one. Not this one. We're going to do it in the cross. And here's the cross. Do you see that cross in front here? Right, this one? But it has to be a back post triple crochet. That makes it a little more difficult. So you're going to have to open things up a little bit, and you're going to have to move it to the back, or you can, stick your hook through there. So let's yarn over twice, if I can. All right. And now here's that cross, and we're going to want to do a back post triple crochet around that. So we're going to come from the back, see that? And we're going to go around like a normal back post triple crochet around that cross. Okay, so you can see it kind of makes it continue that line to the back. Okay. Now we need a double crochet, and this back post triple crochet is in place of doing it around this post. Don't mistake this for the place where you need to put the double crochet. That would have been where we put the back post triple crochet. So we've kind of used that stitch already, if that makes sense. Okay, so it kind of looks like that's where you need to put it, but it's not. Just follow where you've been doing the double crochets, because remember, they stack up on top of each other. So you're going to do this right here. There's your double crochet, and now we're going to do that again. So back post triple crochet, but it's going to be on that cross. There's the cross. This one's a little easier to get to. Okay. Then we're going to do a puff stitch in top of the double crochet there. Okay. And then we're going to do a back post triple crochet on this cross right here. So let's move things out of the way and get that ready so that we can get to there. And do your back post there. Okay. Remember that took care of that stitch there, so put your double crochet here. And let's do that one more time. All right, back post triple crochet, find the cross in the back, there it is. All right. Okay, find that double crochet, here's the top of the double crochet, put in your puff stitch. Okay, we're going to do a back post triple crochet with this cross. All right. From the back and back around. Oh, lost it, sorry. Let me try that again. extra stitch there. Okay, we're going to do that back post triple crochet with that cross right there. I'll get that out of the way so we can get to that cross. There we go. All right. Okay, no double crochet this time, that's the end of that. Now we're going to do the cable pattern 1, which is just your front post double, back post double, front post double. And then cable pattern 3 is exactly the same as row 1. It's just a little tricky to do because you need to, you'll need to find your stitches that you need to use from the previous row. Since you did that cross, it made it a little more difficult. So as normal, start with 4 double crochets. Okay, now, let me get this ready. All right, now we're going to back post triple crochet on the next 9. Yeah, we can find them all. It'll be okay. All right, so back post triple crochet the first 3. Okay, those first 3 are kind of easy. They're right there and back. Now we need to get to the next 3. But remember, we did this crazy cross thing, so they're kind of hard to find. Whatever you need to do, if you need to pull things apart, see how we're doing that. You want to make sure you follow the line. You don't want to skip them and go over here. You've got these 3 here that are kind of covered by the cross. So pull that apart and get these 3 here that are in the middle. Okay, there's another one right there. Okay, there's the 3rd one right there. And then the next 3 right here, those are pretty easy to find. And that makes up your 9 back post, oops, sorry, triple crochets. And 1 more. Okay, and then as usual for cable pattern 3, we're going to end with 4 double crochets right here. Okay. So if you take a look at that, you should have a pretty straight row of back post triple crochets because you found the ones that were kind of crossed over there, and that'll be your cable pattern 3. So go ahead and repeat this. This was the 1, 2, 1, 3, and if you go back to our cheat sheet again, we just did row 3, 1, 2, 1, 3. You're going to do that 2 more times. You're going to go ahead and do cable pattern 1, 2, and 1 at the end, and then I'll meet you back here and we'll go through our final row. We're back after completing row 3, and you should see that for the most part row 3 looks very similar to row 1, just with those few little changes that we discussed. And you should have ended on a front post double, back post double, and a front post double. So now we're going to go ahead and turn and do row 4. Row 4 is very similar to row 2. The biggest changes in this row is with cable pattern 3, so we'll go over those in detail. But let's go ahead and start row 4 with our turning chain, and for cable pattern 1 in row 4, this is going to be your back post triple crochet, your front post triple crochet, and then a back post triple crochet. So our turning chain here will count as our back post, our first back post triple crochet. Now we're going to do a front post triple, and then we'll do a back post triple crochet. And that will complete cable pattern 1 for row 4. Okay, now we'll go on to cable pattern 2, and for row 4, this is the same as row 2. So this is going to be your front post triple crochet cross, and then the double crochet in between. So we can go over that one more time. I'm going to yarn over and go into the first stitch and leave 2 loops on the hook. You're going to do your front post triple crochet around the post to the left of the puff. You're probably a pro at this stitch by now. Go through all 3. We'll do a double crochet in the top of that puff stitch there. Just remember to move the cross to the back because you want the double crochet in front of that cross. All right, now we need to do the other side of the cross, which is a triple crochet front post around the post to the right of the puff. There it is. And leave 2 loops on the hook, like so. And then you're going to finish this by yarning over and putting a kind of like a double crochet in the top of that stitch to the left of the puff where we did the front post. And that ended with going through all 3. And then there's your double crochet. Remember, you just keep stacking those double crochets on top. All right, let's do that again. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, go through 2, leave 2 on the hook. Oh my, it doesn't want to get, there we go. You're going to do a front post triple crochet to the post to the left of the puff. Go through all 3 at the end. A double crochet in the top of that puff stitch. Move your cross to the back and finish your double crochet. Yarn over twice for a front post triple crochet around the post to the right of the puff. Got a little knot in my yarn there. Get that out of there. There we go, sorry about that. Leave 2 loops on the hook. And then you'll finish that by going into the top stitch to the left of the puff. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through all 3. And then your double crochet in the next stitch. We'll do that one more time. Okay, and there's the end of your 3 front post triple crochet cross. No double crochet at the end here. Remember, we're just going to go ahead and do our back post triple crochet for the cable pattern 1, front post triple crochet, and then back post triple crochet. All right, so we've completed cable pattern 1 of row 4 and cable pattern, 1, cable pattern 2, and then cable pattern 1 of row 4, and now we're going to do cable pattern 3. Okay, for row 4 of cable pattern 3, as normal, we're going to start with our 4 double crochets. Now, this time, we're going to skip the first 3 stitches. So these 3 here, we're going to skip. And then we're going to front post triple crochet around the next 3 stitches. So we're going to skip those. And then we're going to do front post triple around these 3. Okay, now we want to work these stitches here, the ones that we just skipped, similar to what we did before when we skipped stitches. However, the last time that we skipped stitches, we worked in front and went and did our front post triple crochet in the front. This time, we still want to do front post triple crochets, but we want to do them behind. So, oh, just lost my stitch. It's a little tricky, but not too hard. You just need to move your stitches out of the way. So here's my recommendation, because you need to kind of pull things apart to get to this, but again, also get to that from behind. So yarn over twice, and you're going to go from behind, right? So you kind of went through that loop there. And then I like to move those stitches down and out of the way. See these ones we just did? I'm kind of moving them out of the way. And now you can see these 3 stitches here. So I've moved those. I did my, let's do that one more time so you can see that. If I can get this off. Okay. So you're going to yarn over twice, right? You want to go from behind, okay? Move those stitches out of the way, and then you can do your front post triple crochets. You see those there? 1, 2, 3. Go behind, find them. Here's your first one. Okay, you're going to do a front post triple crochet. Once you get the first one done, it's a little bit easier because you've kind of anchored that now. Here's your remaining 2. Right, there's your 2 more left there. So yarn over twice. Just keep those down and out of the way. Now we're going to go around that second one like a normal front post triple crochet. Okay, keep these down so that they're out of the way. And then find your third one. Here's the third one that you skipped right here. And do another front post triple crochet. Okay. Let's just look at that for a second. So you have these in front and those 3 in back. See how they're crossing over? Okay, and now these 3 here that aren't involved in the cross, you're going to do front post double crochet. So just so we can take a look at what that looks like. Here's your 3 that you did behind. Here's the 3 that are in front. And here's the 3 that we just did. And then we'll finish up cable pattern 3 with the 4 double crochets like normal. Okay, so that is row 4. We did our cable pattern 1, cable pattern 2, and then cable pattern 1 again right here, and cable pattern 3. So if we go back to our cheat sheet one more time, what we've done right now for row 4 is this segment here, cable pattern 1, 2, 1, 3. You're going to do that 2 more times and then just a 1, 2, 1 at the end. And then we'll come back here and talk about finishing the Afghan. So we've now reached the end of row 4, and that is your whole pattern. What you're going to do now is repeat rows 1 through 4 until you get to about 59 to 60 inches, 151 centimeters, or whatever length you desire if you want it to be longer. And then once we get to the end of that, let's meet back here and see how we did. Well, I am back and I have finished all my rows. I repeated rows 1 through 4. I think I ended up repeating them about 20 times or so. So I have 80 plus rows that I've completed here. Now, as you remember, we started the blanket with a row of double crochet. So I ended the blanket with a row of double crochet and just woven the ends, and that's it. So it's nice and soft and thick, and it's actually a really beautiful design on here with that cabling. So that's the blanket. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please take a minute to like and subscribe. That would really help me out. And as usual, if you have any questions about this, any comments, or if you'd like me to do a different pattern on this video series, please let me know in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, everyone.